Hello, I just wanted to do a follow-up on the previous video just to show actual temperature values, which is something that I forgot to include in the video about the upcoming unusual cold spell for much of the Western United States. So, just gonna go over these temperatures really quickly, what's being projected for the next few days per the National Blend of Models. So you're looking at, for today, Friday the 23rd of August, 2024, you're looking at 60s for much of Western Washington, 50s, 40s and 50s at that for the Cascade Mountains of Washington. Eastern Washington mostly in the 70s, a few locations making it up to around 80 degrees. This is well below average for this time of year. The Portland area, 67 for a high, upper 60s down the Willamette Valley. This is very comfortable, very much below average. This is even a little bit chilly in some spots. Also 40s and 50s for the Cascades of Oregon. Much of eastern Oregon only in the 60s and 70s. It's very mild for this time of year indeed. It's well below average. Much of the Central Valley of California down to Sacramento, only 74 degrees. Redding may be lower than that, maybe around 70. Much of the mountainous regions of Northern California near the Oregon border, just 50s and 60s with 40s in the mountains. 40s along the highest peaks of the Sierra Nevada, 50s for the Tahoe region. 74 in Sacramento, that's about 20 degrees below average for this time of year. Bay Area, coastal areas maybe in the 60s, other areas all the way inland only 70s, and some inland places this time of year average around 90 degrees, so once again also well below average. Southern California not seeing as many impacts, but still going below average. Palm Springs may struggle to hit 100 degrees, where the average is about 108 for this time of year. And you're looking at Nevada, most of northern Nevada, only 60s and 70s. You're looking at Las Vegas, only 90 degrees. That's not that hot for this time of year. We can be well into the hundreds usually over there. You're looking at Utah, Salt Lake City area, 86. That's not too bad. It can be well over 100 this time of year as well. You're looking at 80s in the Twin Falls area, Sun Valley area probably in the 60s. Grand Junction, Colorado, 84. I think average over there this time of year, I believe, is around 90. And the Telluride area only in the 60s, where usually you have about 70 degrees. I'm gonna coincidentally be there within the next week, and yeah, it's a bit cooler than usual. And I do enjoy the cool weather though. But anyways, you have this cooler air, only 70s in Wyoming as well. And Arizona, northern Arizona, parts of northern Arizona in the mountains, only 80 degrees, only in the 80s, parts of New Mexico. You can see this basically this imprint of where the cooler air is here. So you go into Saturday, you have even more cooling. You're looking at only 60s for eastern Oregon, only low 70s for eastern Washington. You're looking at a significant cool down, even cooler here. You're looking at 65 for Twin Falls, probably 50s, if even 50 degrees in parts of the Sun Valley area. California starts to warm up a little bit from this point, but you're looking at Washington, Oregon, Nevada, and Idaho, and parts of Wyoming and Colorado are well below average here now as this cold air continues to progress to the east. You're looking at Sunday now, maybe not even hitting 80 degrees for Grand Junction. Denver will stay in the 80s, will not hit 90 degrees. And you're looking at once again, a lot of the Idaho mountain ranges only in the 40s. You're looking at eastern Washington and eastern Oregon. Pretty much no one in these areas even hitting 80 degrees. California does start to warm up. The Central Valley does start to get back up around 90 degrees by Sunday. But you are seeing still a significant swath of milder temperatures over much of the West Coast here. And start warming up as we go into next week for some areas. Now let me show you the overnight low temperatures. And this is important, especially if you're camping out in the back country or whatnot. You have widespread 20s and 30s in the mountains here for the Sierras and the Cascades and parts of the Idaho mountain ranges, and you have some 20s and 30s in Nevada as well. All over the inner mountain west here where you have higher terrain, you have some really cold air, freezing temperatures for many areas in the high terrain. And you have, even for valley locations in western Washington and western Oregon, you have temperatures in the low 50s. You have mid to upper 50s for much of the Central Valley, lower 50s in the Bay Area and much of the California coastline. You have eastern Washington and eastern Oregon only in the 30s and 40s for lows. For August, this is really cold. You have 50s for much of the Twin Falls region and the Boise region. In Idaho, you have 30s, 20s, 30s, and 40s in the mountains here to the north, which for this time of year is quite unusual once again. And you have a lot of, you have some desert areas even getting down into the 60s, which, yeah, you do not usually see that in August. This is quite chilly air. And then you go into Sunday, it gets even colder for a lot of locations. Widespread 20s and 30s for parts of Oregon, Nevada, and Idaho. And you see a little moderation here, but then you see another punch of cold air going into later next week. So definitely beware of this. Take precautions, especially if you're camping, if you're out in the mountains, if you don't have access to heating. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you next time.